Could Ripple's XRP actually be headed for the US Strategic Reserve? Talk of an executive order signed by Donald Trump is sparking a heated debate, pitting Bitcoin-only advocates known as Bitcoin maxis against Ripple's 𝗕𝗠𝗪𝗠𝗪𝗠𝗧. Some insiders say that XRP, Solana, and even stablecoins might be added to a national digital assets stockpile. And, well, the crypto world is buzzing about this. Now, this video is going to break down the facts, reveal the arguments on both sides, and explain why this potential reserve shakeup could redefine the future of cryptocurrencies. Get ready for an inside look at one of the biggest developments rocking the crypto sphere. Imagine that the United States government not only regulating crypto, but also actively stockpiling it. Does it sound far-fetched? Well, let's see how it all began. Now, according to the recent reports, this conversation about the potential US digital assets stockpile or strategic crypto reserve was sparked by an executive order signed by President Donald Trump. Interestingly, this executive order was introduced just 3 days into his presidency, establishing a kind of presidential working group aimed at shaping federal regulatory frameworks for digital assets. So let's talk about the group's objectives then, right? They've got to develop a federal regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies, explore the creation of a national stockpile or reserve of digital assets. Now, while many people initially assumed this stockpile would focus exclusively on Bitcoin, the kind of leading cryptocurrency with a well-established track record, well, new leaks suggest that there's more to this story. So you might be thinking, why does this matter? Well, this is really interesting. So why would this executive order be making such big waves? Well, let's start with the regulatory clarity aspect, right? A well-defined framework could bring new levels of legitimacy and safety to crypto investments. Then you've got the institutional adoption that will follow, right? If the government backs a crypto reserve, well, it might boost institutional interest, leading to a surge in cryptocurrency market adoption. Then you've got the investment opportunities, right? A US stockpile could have a ripple effect, very much a pun intended here, on prices, especially if lesser known assets like XRP gain official recognition, right? Now, when I say lesser known, what I mean by this is obviously with everything that's been going on with the lawsuit, with the SEC, well, there's been a lack of interest from institutional investors into XRP from the United States. I think that is going to change, putting XRP in the spotlight. What do you think? Could a US-backed crypto reserve be the catalyst that sends the market soaring to new heights? Let's explore the controversy brewing around exactly which digital assets would be included. Bitcoin might be the big brother of cryptocurrencies, but it's not the only digital asset on the block. Here's where XRP enters the scene. There's a strong contingent of Bitcoin maxis or enthusiasts, however you want to articulate it, that believe that if the US government is going to hold any cryptocurrency at all, it should be Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone. Now, one prominent voice in this debate is Pierre, now the VP of research at Riot Platforms, a well-known Bitcoin mining firm. Now, Pierre has gone on record criticizing the potential inclusion of XRP. He accuses Ripple, the company behind XRP, of lobbying for a more diverse reserve at the expense of a Bitcoin-focused strategy. Now, he even suggests that Ripple is financially influencing policymakers to keep Bitcoin from having center stage. So let's take a look at the XRP inclusive narrative then, right? On the other side of the argument, we have a Ripple and its CEO, 𝗕𝗠𝗪𝗠𝗪𝗠𝗪𝗠, who argue that the United States should take a diverse approach. Their reasoning? Well, let's go into that. You've got the broader technological advantages, right? Different cryptocurrencies offer different functionalities. XRP, for example, is known for its quick settlements and low fees. Then there's risk management. Holding multiple digital assets could safeguard against price volatility by distributing risk. And then you've got encouraging innovation, including multiple US-based projects like XRP, Solana, maybe Avalanche, Chainlink, and USDC, if you wanted to, might actually spur homegrown tech developments. So, is having a single asset reserve a missed opportunity for the United States to fully leverage the innovations across the crypto spectrum? Now, money talks, especially in Washington, but is Ripple's lobbying a kind of legitimate attempt to shape crypto-friendly policies, or is it undermining Bitcoin's dominance? And again, this is going to kind of shake the comment section a little bit, I would imagine, because obviously nobody likes maxis. Whether you're a Bitcoin maxi, Ethereum maxi, it's not a good look. But let's get into Pierre's kind of accusations a little bit more, because he accuses Ripple of using its financial resources to shift the conversation away from a Bitcoin-only reserve to a more inclusive one that benefits XRP, at least he alleges. Going into detail, he alleges that Ripple is lobbying against Bitcoin by supporting central bank digital currencies, the CBDCs, that integrate with XRP's technology. Now, Ripple's donations to political campaigns and inaugurations, such as the alleged $5 million to Trump's inauguration, may be influencing policymakers. For many Bitcoin maxis out there, this is a red flag. They assert that including other digital assets is a slippery slope, potentially complicating the government's stance on CBDCs and other altcoins. What's Ripple's response? Well, Brad Garlinghouse has been vocal in dismissing these accusations. He insists that Ripple's advocacy aligns with the administration's goals of supporting American innovation and companies, promoting a kind of diverse approach that would ultimately accelerate the adoption of a US crypto reserve rather than undermining it. Now, Garlinghouse also highlights how a digital asset reserve that solely features Bitcoin might be too narrow, ignoring the utility and speed offered by other blockchain networks. The stance from Ripple is clear. They're not anti-Bitcoin. They just believe in a more comprehensive approach. All this back and forth begs the bigger question then, doesn't it? How are other industry leaders responding to the possibility of XRP sharing a seat at the table with Bitcoin? When rumors circulate about a US digital asset reserve, you can bet the entire crypto community will weigh in on it. Here's what the insiders are saying. You've got Scott, the host of the Wolf of Wall Street podcast, recently hinted that his sources point to a possible dual strategy, including both Bitcoin and XRP. Now, while he emphasizes that this is speculative, Scott describes his source as reliable, adding more fuel to the ever-growing discussion. Now, not everyone is on board. Many maxis or Bitcoiners see the potential inclusion of XRP as an unnecessary complication. They argue the following: Bitcoin's market dominance and historical precedence make it the safest choice for a strategic reserve. Diversifying the reserve could lead to political favoritism, where certain coins get included due to lobbying rather than merit. With traditional financial institutions kind of also showing their growing interest in things like Ethereum, stablecoins, and other altcoins, the idea of a Bitcoin-only or XRP-inclusive reserve is, well, fueling speculation in trading circles. Analysts are keeping a close watch on the cryptocurrency market to gauge whether its news, or this particular news, will trigger a significant bullish run, or if it's more likely to be smoke than fire. Now let's kind of go into a little bit more of this other stuff that's going on in the background, because now we've heard from some of the biggest names in crypto. Let's consider how this potential US reserve could reshape the entire market. Have you ever wondered how a government-backed crypto reserve might shake up your own investments? Right? The ramifications could be bigger than you maybe think. So whenever the government hints at large-scale crypto acquisitions, the immediate aftermath often involves the following: increased volatility, right? Speculative trading can ramp up as investors try to get ahead of the government buying. Then you've got price swings. Altcoins, especially those under consideration like XRP, might see price surges. Then you've got the institutional FOMO, the fear of missing out. Other big players might jump in, fearing that they'll be too late to the party. But what about regulatory oversight with all of this? A federal regulatory framework, well, it might do a few things: enhance consumer protection, making crypto more accessible for, well, everyday users. It could standardize reporting and compliance, removing many of the gray areas, currently troubling investors and, well, exchanges. It could also set a global precedent, as other countries often follow the US's lead in financial regulations. Having multiple assets in a national reserve could also encourage broader blockchain innovation. Just imagine the following, right? More funding for startups, kind of exploring new blockchain solutions, cross collaboration between government agencies and private crypto firms, public to private partnerships that pilot new digital services built on blockchain like XRP's Ledger, or even, dare I say it, Ethereum, one of the most expensive shitcoins in my opinion. But what do you think this government-led push will usher in a new era of mainstream crypto acceptance, or is it going to be a tightening of the reins, too much for comfort maybe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What can history teach us about governments stockpiling assets? Let's rewind to gain some perspective here. Let's go back to the gold reserves as a bit of a parallel. The gold standard era, governments worldwide used to tie their currencies to gold reserves. Stockpile motivation is behind this, right? Accumulating gold kind of helped stabilize economies and maintain public trust in, well, the fiat money. Now, could crypto be the new gold? Some analysts see their parallels here, right? There's a finite supply of, let's say, Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's limited supply of 21 million coins often draws direct comparisons to gold's scarcity. Then there's a hedge against inflation. In times of economic uncertainty, people look for safer haven assets. Bitcoin has sometimes been marked as digital gold, while some claim XRP can offer fast settlement and cross-border transactions. Unlike gold, crypto isn't just a store of value. It's also a technology with diverse applications. This might be where XRP finds a unique role, as it's well known for its remittance and payment solutions. If we look back at how governments have embraced new technologies, from the internet to mobile networks, there's a case to be made for not putting all your eggs in one basket. It's also worth noting when we start thinking about, how crypto is unlike gold, we often see that Bitcoin is turning into the digital gold, right? A store of value. And there's very little kind of applications around BTC. Sure, there's occasional things happening here or there, but there isn't really a huge array of it. Many people in the crypto space, they look at Bitcoin as kind of a way to hedge against what's going on in the fiat world. They don't really use BTC for sending it on transactions like they used to. You're not going to be buying pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin anymore, right? Are you really going to be buying things with BTC directly? Maybe, but it's quite rare. Instead, you kind of look at Bitcoin as a place to store value and kind of where you maintain your wealth. Whereas other altcoins like XRP, they have utility, they have applications far beyond just being a store of value. And that is where you might find a diversification of this reserve actually paying dividends. But now let's fast forward to the future. What does all this mean for digital assets, policymakers, and your crypto holdings? So, is the US government betting big on digital currency, or is this just another passing trend? Let's peer into that crystal ball. Let's start with the potential outcomes, right? Bitcoin only reserve. The government could decide to focus purely on Bitcoin, citing its track record and dominance, which is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then there's the potential multi-asset reserve, XRP, Solana, Avalanche, Chainlink, USDC, maybe Ethereum, right? And potentially others may find a seat at the table, creating a more robust and diversified reserve. And then, of course, there's the slow rollout option. Regulatory uncertainties could delay the formation of any reserve at all, leading to a more cautious approach. And then, of course, we have to discuss what we kind of briefly glanced over earlier, which was the role of central bank digital currencies. Some rumors suggest that the government might also be developing its own CBDC. If that's the case, well, competition with private coins, a US kind of CBDC, could rival stablecoins like the USDC. Integration with existing networks, like partnerships with Ripple or other blockchain providers, might make sense if the infrastructure is already there. But Only a couple of days ago, Trump banned CBDCs in the United States. So does this change things for Ripple? And it's also an argument that a lot of people kind of have, or at least had in the US when it comes to we don't want CBDCs, we don't want XRP, who's affiliated with CBDCs in that reserve. Well, actually, there's no CBDC to be found in the United States now. Garlinghouse and Ripple have historically been involved in CBDC-related pilot programs, giving them a strategic edge if the governments decide to go down this route. Now, we have seen CBDC developments across the globe, and, well, Ripple's network as a whole, XRPL, has been involved with some of those. Love them or hate them, if we truly want to see mass adoption, I do see, unfortunately, a few countries around the world turning to CBDCs to usher in crypto rails and obviously bring in the mainstream adoption. You can let me know your thoughts on CBDCs in the comments down below. But a word of warning, there is a lot of scammers down in the comment section. As quickly as I ban them and delete them, more come. It's too much for one man to handle. Of course, if you want to waste their time, feel free to jump into the comment section down below and spam them like they spam us. But if you want a meaningful conversation, make sure to join us in our free Discord server. It's linked in the description down below. We have a fantastic security team down there that basically make it one of the safest places in all of crypto. So why not join us in our free Discord? So are we on the brink of a crypto revolution led by the United States government? Or is this just a political theatre? Let's wrap things up with some of the final thoughts. This whole conversation, it stems from an order signed by President Donald Trump aiming to create a federal framework for digital assets. There was a huge debate, Bitcoin versus XRP. Strong voices on both sides are debating whether the proposed reserve should be Bitcoin exclusive or diversified. And of course, Bitcoin maxis always pop up at these times. Then of course, we have spoke about Ripple's lobbying efforts, right? Ripple has been accused of swaying policymakers to include XRP. But Brad Garlinghouse contends this, and it's more about innovation and strategic advantage. Then, of course, figures like Scott, who suggest a two-coin reserve is possible, while Bitcoin maxis remain strongly opposed. A US crypto reserve could herald massive price fluctuations, heavier regulation, and a push for more blockchain innovation. My personal take, diversification isn't just a buzzword. It's often considered a prudent investment strategy. Including multiple cryptocurrencies could be a very smart move for a government looking to hedge its bets on the future of digital assets. That said, Bitcoin's dominance and, brand recognition make it an obvious frontrunner, especially for those who see it as digital gold. However, we can't ignore XRP's fast transaction speeds and low fees, nor can we dismiss the possibility of CBDCs in other jurisdictions. Each scenario carries its own risks and rewards, and the final decision will likely come down to how the US administration balances innovation, stability, and political interests. Now, if you found this useful and informative, smash that like button. The more likes there are on this video, the further that YouTube will push it. So spread the word about XRP joining the reserve. And if you want to stay up to date with absolutely everything that's going on here, then why not subscribe and stay up to date with the latest and greatest when it comes to XRP. And if you want to know what XRP price would look like based on the $27 trillion trapped in the banking sector, well, that's the video right there that you're going to want to watch.